Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app, and here you can get the current affairs in quiz format as well as in easy digest format. And this is how you can practice the quiz in this app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. This is the name of Telegram channel, GKToday YouTube. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. So here you will get the content for UPSC examinations as well as for various state examinations. So if you find it relevant, you can subscribe to it. Now let's start. So the first question is, what is the theme of World Metrology Day 2020? So every year on 20th of May, this World Metrology Day is celebrated. And the theme of this year was measurements for a global trade. Now this is important because in 1875, on 20th of May, this Meter Convention was signed. So, while World Meteorological Day is on 20th of March, because in 1950, WMO, that is World Meteorological Organization, was established on 20th of March. Now, 20th of March is also special as it is observed as Shahid Divas or Sarvodaya Day or Martyrs Day, as a tribute to freedom fighters Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. Martyrs Day is also observed on 30th of January. It is the day on which Gandhiji was assassinated. Next question is, who has been appointed as the World Bank's practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management for South Asia? So recently, Abhas Jha has been appointed as the practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management for South Asia. In addition to him, recently P.K. Nair has been appointed as Indian ambassador to Niger. On the other hand, recently Dilip Oman has been appointed as new president of Indian Steel Association. Recently, World Steel Association released a report named World Steel Report. And as per this report, India's crude steel output declined over 65% during April. Next question is, where is the head office of IDRC, that is Indian Dispute Resolution Center, which was in news recently? So the headquarters is in New Delhi, and recently it was in news because it was inaugurated by former Supreme Court Judge Justice A.K. Sikri. This institution will play an important role in ADR. What is ADR? ADR stands for Alternate Dispute Resolution. So IDRC will provide paperless dispute resolution system through software portals. Next question is, which Indian state or union territory is set to form a migration commission to identify the skill of returning migrant workers and to provide employment opportunities to them? So we have already covered this question in our news section. It is state of Uttar Pradesh. Now in the context of migrants, recently COAST was in news. What is COAST? It is Collaboration COVID Action Support Group, and this has been launched by Indian Observatory, and this is a platform or a dashboard which will enable the real-time tracking of migrants so that they can be provided appropriate support. Now Uttar Pradesh was also in news as recently it became the first state to start pool testing, geotagging of community kitchens, as well as it is the first state in our country to have ventilator facility in all districts of the state. In addition to that, it was also in news as it is the first state in our country to have virtual in-house court facility. Next question is, what is the theme of International Day to End Obstetric Fistula 2020? So the theme was End Gender Inequality and Health Inequities and Fistula Now. So every year this day is observed on 23rd of May, and if we talk about obstetric fistula, it is one of the most serious injuries that can occur during childbirth. So the day is observed on 23rd of May. This was the theme and it is related to childbirth. Next question is, Jitendra Nath Pandey, who passed away recently, was associated with which field? So he was associated to medicine and he passed away recently. He was the head of Department of Medicine at the AIIMS. What is AIIMS? AIIMS stands for All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Apart from him, recently, classical musician Shamla Bhave passed away. Next question is, which state government has tied up with Indian Railways for logistic and doorstep delivery of lychee and mango fruits. So the Horticulture Department of Bihar has partnered with Department of Post and with Indian Railways to ensure the doorstep delivery of Shahi Lychee of Bihar and Jardalu mango. So both these products got GI tag in 2018. GI stands for Geographical Indication. Now recently, few other products were in news due to this GI tag. Recently, Kangra tea was in news due to its efficacy in fight against coronavirus, and it is related to Himachal Pradesh. It is also a GI product. Apart from that, recently, Arunachal Pradesh government was in news because of its decision to start the process of getting GI tag for Khamti Lahi rice, for Tawang maize, and for Adi ginger. Next question is, flying bullets that was seen in news recently is associated to which Indian armed force? So it is related to Indian Air Force, and IAF is set to operationalize its squadron called number 18 Flying Bullets with a fleet of LCA Tejas. So this is the second IAF squadron to operate LCA Tejas, and this LCA Tejas has been developed by HAL. What is HAL? It is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Present IAF chief is Air Chief Marshal RKS Bhadoria. Next question is, on which date the Africa Day is celebrated? So it is celebrated on 25th of May. Now in the context of Africa, there is African Union, and recently the Summit of African Union held in Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. Now Ethiopia was also in news because of GERD, that is Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. I have already explained this issue in the news section of Civils Academy. Now African Union was also in news as recently the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, took over as the chair of African Union. Next question is, which Indian state has promulgated an ordinance to allow investors and farmers to enter into agreement for contract farming? So recently, Odisha was in news because of this ordinance. If we talk about ordinance powers, Article 123 and Article 213 of Indian Constitution contains the provisions for ordinance powers. Article 123 is related to the ordinance powers of President, while Article 213 is related to the ordinance powers of Governor. Now coming back to Odisha, the Chief Minister of Odisha is Mr. Naveen Patnaik, and recently he was awarded by PETA India. What is PETA? PETA stands for People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. Now if we talk about contract farming, recently Tamil Nadu became the first state in our country to enact a law on contract farming. Next question is, veteran sports personality Balbir Singh Dosanjh, who passed away recently, was associated with which sports? So he was associated to hockey and he passed away recently. We have already covered this question in our news section. Next question is, which day is celebrated on 25th of May every year that is associated with endocrine disorder? So the name of this day is World Thyroid Day, and it is observed since 2008, and it is observed to promote public awareness about thyroid disease, and it is observed on 25th of May. 25th of May is also observed as Africa Day. Next question is, where is the headquarters of World Steel Association? So the headquarters of World Steel Association is in Belgium in Brussels. Recently it was in news because it released World Steel Report. Now the headquarters of NATO is also in Belgium. NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The most recent summit of NATO held in 2019 in UK, and recently NATO completed 70 years. NATO was also in news as recently Republic of North Macedonia joined NATO as 30th member. In fact, the headquarters of European Union is also in Belgium. Next question is, which Indian Army officer is selected for the prestigious United Nations Military Gender Advocate of the Year Award for 2019? So, Major Suman Gawani has been selected for this prestigious award, and this is for the first time that an Indian has been selected for this award, and this award was started in 2016. So, Major Suman Gawani had served the United Nations mission in South Sudan, and this award ceremony will be organized online. So, she has been selected for her peacekeeping efforts in this UN mission in South Sudan. Next question is, which major multi-industry company announced that it is going to acquire spices major Sunrise Foods? So ITC is going to acquire the spices major Sunrise Food, and it is a Kolkata based company, and ITC announced that it is set to make its biggest acquisition, and it is going to acquire 100% stakes in spices manufacturing company Sunrise Foods. Next question is, which Indian technology company announced its strategic partnership with Ivalo to provide wealth management services? So recently Infosys partnered with Ivalo for wealth management services. This Ivalo is a software company and it is based in Switzerland. Next question is, AR-500C, which was in news recently, is the first unmanned helicopter drone of which country? So it is the unmanned helicopter drone of China, and recently it was in news because of its first successful flight. China was also in news because of Lifeline Udan initiative, as India and China collaborated for this. Now answer in comment box what is the objective of Lifeline Udan initiative. Next question is, what is Malathion Technical, which was in news recently? So it is an insecticide. Insecticide means insect killer. So HIL India, which is a public sector undertaking under, so HIL India, which is a PSU, is going to supply Malathion Technical to Rajasthan and Gujarat for locust control. So this Malathion Technical is an insecticide used in agriculture and public health pest control programs. Now this HIL is under Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Recently this HIL was in news as it is going to provide locust control pesticides to Iran. Iran was in news as recently it changed its currency as Toman. Previous one was Rial. So now 10,000 Rials is equals to 1 Toman. Iran was also in news because of Noor. Answer in comment box what is Noor. So these were the most important questions of today's quiz. Now we are going to cover important news. So if you want current affairs only in question answer format, you can skip this news section, and those who want to cover little bit extra information, they can continue. So first news is related to NASA. What is NASA? It is the space agency of USA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So recently NASA, with the help of ANITA, found hyperactive particles in Antarctica. What is ANITA? It is Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna. Now NASA was also in news as recently it renamed its next generation space telescope W-FIRST in the honor of Nancy Roman. Who was Nancy Roman? She was the first chief astronomer of NASA. What is W-FIRST? It stands for Wide Field Infrared Survey Telescope. So this is related to NASA, and this is going to be launched in 2025. Why this was in news? Because it has been decided that it will be renamed after Nancy Roman. Who was Nancy Roman? She was the first chief astronomer of NASA. NASA is the space agency of USA. Next news is related to Facebook. So recently Facebook decided to launch its calling application named Catch Up. Next news is related to Cyclone Amphan. So recently the central government announced relief package for West Bengal and Odisha, which were devastated due to the cyclone. So for West Bengal, a rehabilitation package of Rs 1000 crore has been announced, and for Odisha, a rehabilitation package of Rs 500 crores have been announced by the central government. Now the name of the cyclone was given by Thailand. Recently, one more tropical storm was in news, and it is Manga. Answer in comment box which country gave this name Manga. Next news is related to Ramkinkar Baj. So he was well-known artist, and recently NGMA, that is National Gallery of Modern Arts, organized a virtual tour to commemorate the 115th anniversary of this iconic artist Ramkinkar Baj. So he was related to art. Next news is related to NYIPLA. What is NYIPLA? It is New York Intellectual Property Law Association. So recently the Inventor of Year Award of NYIPLA has been given to Rajiv Joshi. Who is Rajiv Joshi? He is Indo-American scientist of IBM, and he has been selected for this Inventor of the Year Award of NYIPLA. Next news is related to BRO. What is BRO? It is Border Roads Organization and it is under Ministry of Defense. Now recently BRO constructed a tunnel under Char Dham Pariyojana, and this tunnel was in news because it was recently inaugurated by Nitin Gadkari. He is the Minister of Road Transport and Highways and he inaugurated the tunnel as a part of this Char Dham connectivity project in Chamba. So it is a 440-meter tunnel and this tunnel has been developed by BRO. Next news is related to LIC. So recently PM Vay Vandana Yojana was extended and the cabinet approved its extension up to 31st of March 2023. And this scheme is offered only by LIC, that is Life Insurance Corporation. So recently LIC announced few modifications for this scheme, and this is a scheme for social security of senior citizens. Next is related to WHO. So World Health Organization and International Olympic Committee has decided to collaborate to promote health through sports. Now WHO was also in news as recently WHO suspended the clinical trial of HCQ, that is hydroxychloroquine. However, India is going to continue HCQ against COVID-19 even though the suspension of trial has been announced by WHO, because as per ICMR there is no major side effect of HCQ. What is ICMR? It is Indian Council of Medical Research and it is under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Next news is related to collaboration. So recently Maruti Suzuki has partnered with ICICI Bank to provide retail financing schemes to customers. Maruti Suzuki was also in news as recently it launched Buy Now, Pay Later. So answer in comment box with the help of which organization Maruti Suzuki launched this Buy Now, Pay Later initiative. Next news is related to REC, that is Rural Electrification Corporation. So it is a public sector entity and it is under Ministry of Power. And REC recently partnered with TajSats to provide nutritious food to the medical staff in New Delhi in Safdarjung Hospital. So this partnership is for nutritious meal for the corona warriors in New Delhi in Safdarjung Hospital. Next is related to VAMS. What is VAMS? It is Visitor Authentication and Management System. So recently VAMS Global, which is a Mumbai-based startup, has developed the first contactless visitor management software, and the name of this software is VAMS Safeguard. Next is related to Arogya Setu, as Arogya Setu app was in news because of privacy issues. So now government decided to provide the source code for this app. That means now the source code of this app has become open and it will be available in public domain. Next is related to Italy, as Italy has won the inaugural edition of UEFA Euro 2020. So this was a virtual event. Virtual means this was organized online. Now Italy was also in news because of I Feel You. So I Feel You is a bracelet for social distancing. Next news is related to SKIMS. What is SKIMS? It is Sher-e-Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences. So it is in Jammu and Kashmir. And recently this institute was in news because it got its first of its kind infectious disease block facility. Now Jammu and Kashmir was also in news as recently new domicile rules were notified by the administration for Jammu and Kashmir. So the state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into two union territory. One is Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and another one is Union Territory of Ladakh. Recently Ladakh was in news as a separate police force has been announced for Ladakh, and now the police in Leh and Kargil district will be called Ladakh Police, and the flag of Ladakh Police is blue and red colored with a tagline Khidmat or Himmat, that means service and courage. Next is related to Goa. So recently Goa declared that people who are going to enter into Goa need a COVID-19 certificate, that means a negative COVID-19 certificate if they want to enter into Goa. Next is related to European Union Commission, as recently it proposed a recovery fund of 750 billion euro for the revival of economy post lockdown. Next is related to FRSH. So this is a personal care brand and it has been launched by Salman Khan. And last news is related to Nepal, as Nepal has postponed its scheduled discussion to amend its constitution by updating the map of country. Now this event has been postponed. It was also in news that Nepal recently launched updated map, and in which Nepal claimed some areas of Indian territory as its own. So these were the most important questions and events of today's quiz. Thank you, and that's all for the day.